Hello and welcome to Baggies View from a rather drizzly Hawthorns. Roy Hodgson has finally joined the club, and here's what Chris Lipkowski had to say about it.
Well, as somebody who's been in the game for nearly 35, 36 years, I think he said, he's very polished, very experienced with how he dealt with the media, didn't give much away as you might expect, and they did try and trip him up a few times over what happened at Liverpool, but he made it very clear that he's here to deal with West Brom. He was asked about the England job, asked about the Olympics job, asked about Liverpool, but his main focus was completely on Albion and the task ahead really, which is to try and keep him in the Premier League.
Now he knows he's short on time, isn't he? So he's already out there scouting.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a longer term project. Obviously they've got games coming up against some of the teams he's watching, but he did watch Chelsea and Fulham on Monday, and one of the things about Roy is that he's been in the game for 36 years. He brings with him a database of knowledge about players from all over the world. He's managed in several countries. He's managed several countries himself. So he certainly brings that to the table, and I think he's got a good working chance here.
And what do you think he'll bring to the club in terms of style of football and organisation, I suppose?
Well, style of football is difficult to tell at the moment. I suspect he'll make them very harder, so certainly harder to beat. We've seen Albion concede some bad goals of late, very sloppy. Set pieces they've been really poor on, and conceding on average 2 per game at the moment. I suspect he'll rein that in. One of the strengths at Liverpool, despite it not working out for him, is that they were very difficult to beat from set pieces, and I think he'll certainly make them harder in that respect. He'll bring more organisation, and I'm sure that'll be something they're working on.
We've touched already on his experience, and he said in that press conference that he's not going to change the way he works, but I suppose at the same time results are what matters now.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a bad position at the moment, Albion, and they're in a culture of defeats at the moment and playing badly and suffering setbacks. When we saw the first goal go in for West Ham on Saturday, there was always a feeling that more would follow. He needs to reverse that. He needs them to get back towards a sort of positive frame of mind. He needs to give them belief, because there are some good footballers here with talent and ability, and I think whether he's the man to do it, wait and see, but he's got the experience. He's been in this position before. He said it himself, nothing surprises him in football anymore, and this will be something he's been used to doing before.
Well, those are the thoughts of Chris Lipkowski. Here's what Roy Hodgson had to say at Monday's press conference.
It's a tough job. Nobody wants to get relegated. We don't want to get relegated, and none of the other teams around us want to get relegated. We all understand that 3 teams will get relegated, and we've got 12 games to try and make sure it's not us. And all the talking in the world and all the intelligent things that someone can say will not make one heap of the difference. It's what the players who are chosen to play do on the field of play and the results they achieve. That's where we are, and that's what we depend upon. I don't feel I've got anything to prove. I do feel I've got a very important job on my hands. I think a lot of people are depending upon me to try and help the club now retain its status. I feel that pressure, I feel that responsibility, but I don't feel I've got anything to prove, and I don't think that the Liverpool players, if you spoke to them, will tell you that I had anything to prove either.
Well, that's all we've got time for today on Baggies View. Join us again next week for more Baggies news.